Welcome to the show. This is your host, David Yanis, and we are here with Miss Jean Watson. How are you?
Hey, David. Glad to meet you.
I'm glad to meet you, too. Just tell us about your ICRS experience so far.
Well, it's been interesting. I've met a lot of people, and it's just fun to meet people that are interested in sharing their faith through music or books or whatever it is, and people that really have a common vision. So it's been a lot of fun.
Now, tell us about yourself. We're setting up the cameras and stuff, and I'm like, okay, just let me know a little bit about yourself. Like, wait, you're telling too much good stuff. We need to get this on tape.
Okay.
Tell us about your experience. I mean, you're a violinist, and
Yes.
tell us about that.
So I started playing the violin when I was 7 years old, and ended up going to music school, and I decided to study music as a profession. So I went to a conservatory and got a master's degree in music performance, violin performance. And while I was in music school, I met the Lord and surrendered my heart completely over to Him. And then after music school, made some decisions and choices that weren't probably God's perfect will for my life, and walked off the path of my destiny a little bit. I had dreams as a child that I would do something great with music someday, and also that I would go to travel to Ireland and England. I very much had a desire to go to those places as a child. I even made a picture of Ireland when I was in ninth grade that I have to this day.
Wow.
So, but those dreams got buried for many years as I pursued really my own path rather than God's. And kind of fast forward about 15 years, I found myself not living on the East Coast where I was born, but in the Midwest, and no longer married. I had gotten married during that time and had 4 children. Unfortunately, the marriage ended in divorce. So during that time in my life, I found myself living alone with the 4 kids and really struggling.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah,
That
difficult.
is a lot of work, ends meet and everything. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
the finances
Oh,
were
yeah.
a big strain and pressure on my life. And but it was during that time, that pressure, I think, is what really drove me back into the Lord's perfect will for my life. And so I cried out to Him
Okay.
at my lowest point.
Yeah.
Was lying on the bed, just feeling very depressed, and I cried out to the Lord, and I opened my Bible, and I saw the words of Psalm 116, verse 4, which just says, "Oh God, save me."
Wow.
Or, "Oh God, help me." Excuse me. And I prayed that prayer, and immediately after I prayed, the phone rang, and there was a voice on the other end of the phone asking if I was Jean Watson that played the violin. And so this man, come to find out, was the concertmaster of a professional symphony
Oh, that's
orchestra.
amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing. That was
And-
after the prayer.
That was after the prayer.
Wow. Okay.
And he had heard my name in a restaurant the night before, and heard someone talking about a violin player in the city where we lived, and he asked if I would come play for him. And so I hadn't played the violin in years, but went and played for him. He ended
Okay.
up giving me a job eventually in a professional symphony orchestra. And that was like the Lord just speaking to me that He'd heard my prayer and that He wasn't finished me.
See, God hears your prayers. God, I mean, that you need to know that no matter where you're at in faith, God will hear. Wherever you're at in your struggles, God hears you. Please
He
continue.
does. And so gave me a job and something to do to support my family.
That builds your self-esteem, and
It did.
that builds your self-worth, and you begin to do more. You have more confidence to do more.
Absolutely. And it was healing me. It was beginning to heal me from the inside out. And then Christmas of that same year, the second miracle happened. My landlord came and brought us a Christmas tree
Okay.
for me and the kids. And when he walked in the house, he heard a recording of me singing Christmas carols that I had made for a friend. And he just was really touched by the sound of my voice and sat down on the couch, and he cried, and he said, "What is that?" And I said, "Oh, that's just nothing. That's just a recording I made for a friend." And he said, "No, who's singing?" I said, "Well, it's me." And he said, "I don't know what you're doing with your life, but that's what you're supposed to be doing." And
That's nice.
yeah, it was
That's
amazing.
nice.
Well, God just sent him in at that moment, and he actually gave me my rent money back.
Really?
And he said, "I want you to take your rent money."
I'm going to make a Christmas card.
Yeah, exactly.
You hear that?
Yeah.
You want to pay your rent? Make
Yeah,
Christmas
make
CD.
a Christmas CD.
Yeah.
So he gave me my rent money back, and he said, I want you to finish a CD. Just go make a recording with this money. So that's what I did.
Wow, he sowed a seed in you. He gave you a seed,
Yes,
a
he
miracle. That was a miracle seed. And
It
was that
was.
enough to take care of it or to get it started?
It was enough to finish that first record back in
Wow.
2002.
Let me tell you, now she has 7.
I have 7.
Seven
It's the
CDs.
first one.
Wow.
Yeah, and I began to give it to anyone who would listen, and the Lord began to open doors for me to sing and speak.
Yeah, tell us about some of these places now. She's been to
Oh, yeah,
some
got a
good
little
places
crazy.
that she was able to get into that God is open. And when God's hand is on you, I tell everybody that. Everyone else has talent, all of us have gifts, but when God's hand falls on you, opens enormous doors.
Right, it's God's favor. And when God's favor is on your life, He will open doors for you that no man can shut. And that's what happened to me. It was just beyond what any human publicity or marketing company could have done.
Yeah.
Several CDs later, my faith was growing, and I began to travel around the United States and tell my stories of how God was restoring my life. Not only did He restore my life, but I had a son that almost died of a drug addiction.
Wow, okay.
He saved my son, miraculously delivered him. So I started sharing these stories, not only in churches, but the Lord was getting me into prisons and
Okay.
homeless shelters. And eventually, my music was heard overseas, and I received an invitation to travel to England in 2007. Showed up in London, carrying my violin and dragging a keyboard. And I just traveled from church to church.
That's amazing.
Place to place.
Oh, wow.
And God started to do just amazing things. And I realized that it really had very little to do with music and entertainment, but He was using the music to soften people's hearts to receive His word.
Tell us about Ireland and UCB Radio.
Well, I traveled back and forth to England many times, and the Lord started just bringing healing and salvation to people's hearts. Eventually got into Scotland, and finally about 5 years ago into Ireland. And when I got to Ireland, things really exploded. The Irish people were at a place where they were ready to hear the gospel.
Oh, amen. Amen.
The walls of the church were really coming down, and a lot of people really searching for hope and searching for truth.
Yeah.
And so I showed up with my music and my message. They were listening, and United Christian Broadcasting started listening as well. And one day the program director came up to me after a very long service. I had prayed for people that started a concert at 8 o'clock on a Monday night, and I was still praying with people at 1 o'clock the next morning. And he came up afterwards and he said, wow, he said, something's going on with your ministry. And, he asked if I'd like a bigger microphone and would I like to try radio. So I said, sure, I don't know how
Wow.
to do that. But,
Wow.
so he gave me a radio show. I
That's
started
amazing.
broadcasting in Ireland, recording the program right here in the United States in my basement in Michigan.
Hey,
So-
all they do is hear it, so it doesn't matter where you record it.
They have no idea where I am. That's
Yeah,
right.
I tell everybody the same way. That's how we started the station. Beat up computer. I kept bringing it back to life.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, but tell us what's going on right now in your life.
Right now, things are very busy, and I'm just holding on. I'm not praying that the doors open anymore. I'm praying for the strength
To maintain it?
to hold on to
Oh,
the
wow.
chariot,
Yeah.
because things are moving very fast. But I'm having a great time.
Amen.
The Lord's keeping me very busy, doing all kinds of speaking ministry
That's
and
good.
singing, talking on the radio,
Okay.
and performing and doing women's conferences. And
Wow. Well, we got about a minute left. I want you to
Okay.
give a word of encouragement to everybody.
well, I just want to just speak hope into your life right now. If you're listening today and you're feeling like maybe you've had a dream that's been forgotten by God, I just want you to know that you haven't been forgotten.
Amen.
He hasn't forgotten your dream. Just pray, ask Him to come back into your life and make Him Lord again. And He'll bring you right into the land of your destiny.
Amen. Tell them your new latest CD and then how they can get a hold of it.
I'm releasing a brand new one called Steady My Gaze. It's coming out September of this year. Just go to my website, GeneWatson.com, or on Facebook at Gene Watson Music. You can learn more about it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, David.
And we'll be back with another
All right.
great